Tonight on Stand Up for the Week, Seann Walsh, Josh Widdicombe, Romesh Raganathan, Angela Barnes, Simon Evans. But now, please welcome your host, Paul Chowdhry.
Welcome to Stand Up for the Week. What's happening, white people? Having a good time? So, the Chinese police have set up cardboard cutouts of police cars on the motorway to stop people from speeding. How's that going to work? I suspect a white Ford Focus, last seat heading east. Do you copy? Yeah, I copy. DVD, handbag, Rolex, police car. I copy everything. Here's the police car. That's a good copy. Miley Cyrus was pictured this week wearing a miniskirt, and she had the picture of Biggie and Tupac on her arse cheeks. Have a look at this. Let's have a closer look. That's Biggie and Tupac on her miniskirt. So if you know about gangster rap, that's East Coast, West Coast. And just like the rest of America, the middle is one big shithole. And you know who she's got on the front of that miniskirt? Muff Daddy. What's happening? I don't know if you heard about this week. Auditions were held for the new Star Wars film in Bristol. Right? What happened was Dave Prowse, the actor that plays Darth Vader, told local actors not to use the Bristolian accent because it will put people off. That's basically what he said. His direct quote was, "You can't go, "War, oi, me dear. Where's my lightsaber?" They should have more regional accents in Star Wars. I mean, it's obvious Luke Skywalker's from Essex. He doesn't know who his real dad is. It's probably Dave. He could be Cornish, though, Luke Skywalker, because in the first film, he tried to bang his own sister. Because you know what they say about accents, right? Apparently 28% of Britons feel they've been discriminated against because of their accent. Do you know what I mean, mate? You got your translator with you, innit? That's the thing, because, you know, Stephen Hawking, right? He's got a very posh voice box accent. That's why you trust him. You know, Stephen Hawking had a more northern voice. No one would take him seriously, would they?
All right, it's the theory of relativity. We're just orbiting around an average star on a very minor planet inhabited by an average breed of monkeys.
And they also say that 22% of Britons admit to changing their accent when it comes to chatting up a girl. You know, like my gal. What do you say, rude gal? Pump your deal with it. See, usually when I chat up a woman, I pretend to be Jamaican. And she pretends to be a lesbian. I've been trying some online dating, right? And it came out this week that there's a Russian online dating site that I went on. And you should see some of the people on this site. Here's the first girl I found. At least she gets her 5 a day. That's Melanie. Look at this dude I found. His hobbies include exposing himself to ladders. And look at this tough guy as well. This guy's trying to get women. He's got a bandana on his face, knife strapped to his arm, and 2 swords. And a picture of a puppy behind him. I cut you up, I chop you to pieces, I murder you. But don't touch my puppy. I found this mermaid. Bottom half of a fish, top half of a dog. Here's another fine example as well. Look at this guy. What is going on with this geezer? He looks like he's guarding the shittest nightclub in Russia. Some weird doorman. I found this one. Sitting next to the love of her life, a microwave. Not so much a selfie, more of a left on the shelfie. Are you ready for your first act? With all this week's entertainment news, please welcome Seann Walsh.
So, entertainment news. Hollywood A-listers George Clooney and Russell Crowe are currently having a public spat. I don't know if you heard about this. Russell said Clooney was a sellout for doing adverts. I wouldn't personally want to be in a row with Russell Crowe. Because he's too intense. Every single film there's a rousing speech where men have to gather around and listen to what he has to say. It's too much. Can you imagine being friends with Russell Crowe, hungover on a Sunday, watching the football? Russell, if you pop into the shop, you wouldn't get us something, would you? Hunger arises within you. For 6 long hours since breakfast. Our fridge lies empty and our cupboards are barren. There's also fuck all in the bread bin. Provisions are low. Time and toilet roll are against us. And before you ask, I used the last of the kitchen roll. Before sunset, I will journey deep into the high street and descend upon a Tesco Express. If that's shut, I will travel to the one they call Raj. They say the sun never sets there. It's open 24 hours, and he's always got a great deal on Carlsberg. No, not bottles, cans. Name your desires, and it shall be yours. Barbecued Pringles. Tang-fasting Haribos. What's-its? Doritos. Name your dip! Sour cream, cool salsa. Tonight we feast like kings! I'm not finished, men! I'm not finished! I will need my keys and wallet. And men, if you dare change your mind, if you find doubt within your souls, I'll bring my phone, call me. Russell Crowe has made an effort to make amends by sending George some of his poetry and a CD. I hope they don't make up. I hope they do fight. Proper A-listers fighting. It'd be amazing. The guys that we're used to seeing fight in action scenes. Remember, they can't actually do that stuff. They wouldn't be able to use the moves they use in the film. None of that. No one does that in real life. No one's ever done... If you've ever done that, that is followed by a 40-second apology to the person behind you. Sorry. So sorry. I really didn't see you there. I was just trying to get my bag, and I'm so sorry. I really didn't see you there. No one does this stuff. You know, you know what I mean? Forget that. I want to see the guy who played Gladiator and the guy who played Batman outside the Academy Awards, like 2 blokes outside Oceana's, just fucking... Judi Dench getting in. George, leave it. It's not worth it. George, leave it. It's not... Look at me. Look what you've done. Look at that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Leave it. I'm sorry. I'll leave it. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry, all right? I'm fucking sorry. Fuck off. I'm sorry. Fucking... Ben, look what you've done. Fucking sorry. I'm sorry you can't do all the accents in Robin... Shit, Batman. Fucking... Shit, Batman. Fucking... People were trying to break it up, weren't they? That's what happens with fights. People try to break it up. That doesn't happen in films. Outside the Oscars, Matt Damon would be there. Come on, guys, leave it, it's all right. Back off, leave it. No one ever tries to break up the fight in the film. It'd be great in the film if you had two men on top of a train, ready, one-on-one combat. Suddenly a bloke comes out the window. Guys, come on, leave it, it's not worth it. It's too dangerous. Come on, get down from there. That's been the entertainment news. Thank you very much. See you again. Bye.
Seann Walsh. Are you up for some more comedy? Here with all the headline news, please welcome Josh Widdicombe.
Hello. So, this is the headline news. It's an exciting week in news. I don't know if you know, MPs have been quizzing MI5, MI6 and GCHQ about their working practices. What this means, basically, this has all come from Edward Snowden revealing all these secrets of the NSA. I didn't know what the NSA was, so I Googled it, and this is what came up. The National Sheep Associations. I mean, when I heard Edward Snowden was a maverick whistleblower, I just presumed he'd taken a flock off a cliff. Exciting, isn't it? NSA launches ambassador programme, yeah. Little Bo Peep crossing her fingers for that one. Apparently, the sites the NSA targeted were Facebook, Apple, AOL. I mean, I don't know if they need to target AOL. The only time anyone Googles AOL is to check if it's still there. I mean, what other things were they going to tap into? Friends Reunited? Yeah, we've got some good data off MySpace. Tom is very lonely indeed. In fact, the only person he hangs out with is Arse Jeeves. They've both got a lot of time on their hands. People complain, don't they? They say that this is an invasion of their privacy. No, it's not. No. If you are uploading photos to Facebook, you are invading your own privacy. Right, you cannot complain about your privacy being invaded if you are uploading a scan of an unborn child. I don't want to see this. I mean, I barely know you. I don't want to see your womb. I'm looking at this because I want to see your holiday pictures. You do not need to hack into Facebook. Nothing is encrypted on Facebook. Like, the most cryptic thing that there ever is on Facebook is when one of your high-maintenance friends updates their profile when they're really down. And they put, turns out some people don't understand what friendship is. And there'll always be a comment below saying, babe, inbox me. Only the people writing that comment are the NSA. That's who that is. But we move on to the man who is responsible for all this, Edward Snowden. Now, Edward Snowden, he leaked all the documents from the NSA, and then he sought asylum in loads of countries, and none of them would have him. He said he got paranoid when he was on the run. He said when he was in his hotel room, if he was writing a password into his computer, he'd put a sheet over his head and the laptop. Now, look, mate, if you are putting a sheet over your head and the laptop, usually you're not writing a password. And if you are wearing your headphones, that is not because you don't want people to hear you writing your password. And if you're clearing your internet history, that's not because you fear people may see your password. And then when you take the sheet off and you're wiping down the keys, that is not to get rid of the fingerprints. He's got a new job at a Russian website. I mean, that must have been a very awkward interview. Just going, what was your reason for leaving the last job? They were going to put me in Guantanamo Bay, yeah. Bloody hell, the National Sheep Association are quite harsh, aren't they? The other kind of kingpin in this exposing of secrets is Julian Assange. Julian Assange is the editor of WikiLeaks, and he's currently... here's a picture of Julian Assange. There he is. That's him imagining what it'd be like to be on a tube train if he ever gets to do it again. Julian Assange, if you don't know, he's living in the Ecuadorian embassy and he can't leave because in Sweden he's been accused of rape and he doesn't want to be extradited there. And he's offered Edward Snowden the use of his lawyers. And if I was Edward Snowden, I wouldn't accept the lawyers of a man who has to live in the Ecuadorian embassy. I'd go to O.J. Simpson. That's the guy with the best lawyers. He's been in there almost 18 months. I mean, only hanging out with the ambassador. He must be pissed off with Ferrero Rocher by now. But he's had a lot of people visiting him as well. Vivienne Westwood visited him at the embassy. This is a picture of Vivienne Westwood. There you can see she's wearing a T-shirt, right, that when she's going in, saying, "I'm Julian Assange." It looks like she's on the shittest stag do of all time, doesn't it? I mean, is it that easy to get into the Ecuadorian embassy? Just to wear a T-shirt saying, "I'm Julian Assange." Someone tell the American government they can do that. Incidentally, don't wear that T-shirt in Sweden. That could go very badly wrong indeed. That is the headlines this week. Thank you very much. My name's Josh Widdicombe. Cheers. See you next week. Bye.
Still to come, Romesh Raganathan, Angela Barnes, Simon Evans.
Welcome back to Stand Up for the Week. Here with all the news from Middle England, please welcome Simon Evans.
Thank you very much indeed. Good evening. Delighted to be here with all the news from Middle England. I think probably the main news, the main cause for consternation this week is the newly illustrated version of David Dimbleby. This elder scion of the greatest dynasty of British broadcasting ever, this man who is so respected, has appeared on the front page of various newspapers around the country, revealing himself to be adorned with a tattoo, a scorpion tattoo, on his right shoulder. No doubt not the most irritating prick he'll have on his shoulder, as long as the BBC continues to book Nigel Farage for Question Time for some unaccountable reason. It was a small, discreet scorpion. It took about an hour, of which most of the time, I imagine, must have been taken up with applying the bulldog clips to stretch the fabric into a workable surface. I mean, I have never actually tattooed a 75-year-old man before, but it must be like trying to write on a wet napkin with a biro. It's... I want to be clear. I have nothing against tattoos per se. I live in Brighton. Tattoos are very popular, and as far as I'm concerned, anything that gets the kids reading is fine with me. Nor, actually, am I against old people having a good time. I have a next-door neighbour, Doris, who is 84 years of age. She's a keen member of the WI. I asked her what the WI do. She said to me, the first rule of WI is you don't talk about WI. It's not, in fact. I checked. The first rule is something to do with butter-to-egg ratios, but still. She recently agreed to take part in one of their calendar shoots. You're probably familiar by now with the WI calendar shoots. Ladies of a certain age disrobe themselves. It's all done in good... She showed me her shot. It was very impressive. She's either had a nipple or a belly button pierced. At that age, it's hard to tell for sure, but... something in there was glinting, but... The other thing, which has been a chief debating point in Middle England, is the emergence of the Christmas ads. Strange, we really deify Christmas television commercials now, it seems to me. The John Lewis advertisement, in particular, has pretty much replaced the Church of England as the source of all moral authority in delivering a Christmas message, which makes us feel warm inside. This is its chief purpose now. I don't think they're even trying to sell produce, as is evidenced by the fact that they premiered this advertisement during X Factor on a Saturday night on ITV. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with John Lewis's customer base, but let me assure you from personal experience, none of them are watching mixed ability karaoke on the television on a Saturday night. They are out playing bridge or buffing up their Labradors or face down in the au pair or whatever they are. They have better things to do with their time. Anyway, I don't know whether you've seen it this year. It's a lovely cartoon. It's called The Bear and the Hare, which to most of you, I imagine, probably sounds like options you're faced with at a waxing salon. But on this occasion, the bear and the hare, singular. That would require a very steady hand, wouldn't it? But John Lewis people, they would think the waxing... Why do you want to have your vagina weatherproofed? But never mind, they... And it's easy to be cynical, but it works for me, I'll be honest with you. John Lewis adverts do give me that warm. It's a lovely formula. You have a sweet story, and over the top there's a breathily homeopathic version of a well-known pop song. This year, Lily Allen is delivering one of Keane's bedwetting power ballads in one of those voices evocative of a child slowly losing consciousness in a ditch somewhere. Possibly having been knocked into it by a speeding John Lewis van on its way to make Christmas deadlines. I don't know. It doesn't matter what song you choose. If you sing it in that voice, it could be, I like big butts and I cannot lie. And it would sound like a Christmas Yuletide lullaby. It's fine. The only other app which comes anywhere near, as far as I'm concerned, for quality is M&S this year. M&S, who've got, ironically, a bit S&M. They have Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, I believe her name is, a delicious young model dressed as Alice in Wonderland. And just as you've accepted that she's supposed to be a 12-year-old girl, there she is suddenly in scarlet bra and knickers for tea, and you're feeling all Christmassy down below. It's not so much an advert as a honey track, frankly. A little bit further down the social ladder, you encounter Boots, who have a young hoodie going door to door. You immediately assume vandalising or thieving, but no, in fact, he's leaving presents for a variety of people. You do wonder to yourself where to get the fucking money from, but never mind. We're being asked to challenge our stereotypes for this time of the year, and that's nice. A little bit further down again, we come to TK Maxx. Their ad features a sequence of little faces lighting up as they open their gift and remember wanting this last spring. It's a very moving sight. The Church of England have expressed anxiety this Christmas that people will drive themselves deeper than they should into debt, that people will rack up debts they cannot meet in the new year in a desperate hope of providing a perfect Christmas for their family by buying unnecessarily expensive gifts, to which you can only say, well, you fucking started it! Gold, frankincense and myrrh! What kind of presents are those for an infant child? What's wrong with a fucking rattle? But no, of course. It's all right for the infant Jesus. Have a wonderful Christmas if I don't see you before. Thanks very much. Cheers. Take care for that.
Simon Evans. Are you ready for your next act? Now, to tell us about all the first world news, please welcome Angela Barnes.
Talk to you about the first world news. Now, that is the news for people who don't have enough to worry about in their lives, right? It's the news for people less concerned about car bombs in Damascus and more concerned with car parking in Asda's. Right, so the first thing I want to talk to you about today is the marketing profession have come up with a new demographic recently, right? Now, this demographic is known as the PANK. It stands for Professional Auntie No Kids. Right, now, I think I'm one of those because I don't have any children. Right? I'm 37, I don't have any children. I do have a lot of godchildren. Right, in fact, I've got so many godchildren, I'm starting to think I might actually be God. So I've only got got one actual nephew, but I've got a lot of kids that call me auntie, right? So I am a professional auntie, no kids. I mean, I say professional auntie, no kids. I'm yet to receive any payment. But I don't know about you, right? But something's happened along the way to being 37. Let this be a warning to any younger women in the room. I have stopped getting paid for babysitting. And the worst thing about babysitting as a woman of my age is that when the dad gives me a lift home afterwards, he doesn't even try and fill me up. That's what they actually... I think by professional auntie, no kids, what they mean is that I've got a job, right? So I've got a disposable income that I can use to spend on these children. I suppose what it really is a working auntie, no kids, but they can't really call it that for obvious reasons. And what about the professional uncles, no kids? Why are they not a thing, right? The punks. Where are they? Then I thought about it. I thought, actually, the word uncle, when you're not talking about a blood relation, it has a few connotations, doesn't it? Yeah. It's either a bit creepy or it's the man who's fucking your mum. But there are loads of us, there's loads of us panks around now, right? Because the number of childless women in Europe is on the rise, right? In Germany at the moment, they're throwing money at the problem, trying to boost the birth rate. And, because I don't know if I want children, or not, right? But I have to start thinking about it because I'm getting on a bit, And a friend of mine suggested that I could get my eggs frozen, right, to try and prolong my fertility a little bit. Now, I thought about it, and then I thought, do you know what? When you freeze things, they go a bit shit, don't they? So, do I really want my children to be the human equivalent of a ready meal? I'm not sure that I do. And also, when you freeze things in the freezer, right, they've got a tendency, haven't they, to all sort of clump together. Right? I can't get this image out of my head of some lab technician just whacking a bag of my eggs on the side like frozen peas. Right? And then when that doesn't work, getting a knife in, like between two burgers. What if there's a power cut in that thing, right? That is a lot of pressure on a woman to use all those eggs within 24 hours of being defrosted. And what about when little Findus and Sarah Lee go off to school? And they're getting taught about the birds and the bees? Are they just going to get taken into a separate room and get told Mum went to Iceland? I don't think so. Yeah, it's worrying. It's worrying having children in these times, And then they get older, of course, and they're teenagers with mobile phones. Well, that's a whole different danger, isn't it? That's because there's a rise, right, a huge rise in teenagers sending explicit pictures to each other online and on their phones via mobiles, right? Teenage boys no longer get erections, they get pop-ups. Part of me does think, like, whatever happened to writing someone a nice poem on the back of a fag packet and putting it in their school bag? Do you know what I mean? I think today, if a teenage girl received a poem, that would creep her out more than a picture of a cock. She'd be like, yeah, he sent me this thing. It was like a song, but it wasn't a song. What, and there wasn't a cock in it? No, not even a bollock. It was weird. I think it's only a matter of time as well. It's only a matter of time before the phone companies realise the scope of sexting, right? And they're going to start using it as part of their ad campaigns. Now, I don't know about you, but I, for one, am not looking forward to seeing Kevin Bacon sending pictures of his knob in the middle of Coronation Street. But it does have its upsides, I think, sexting. It does have its upsides. I think we worry too much about it. I mean, you know a guy's a keeper if the picture he sends you has to go across 2 text messages. And the only viruses you're going to pick up from sexting and online Skype sex are computer viruses. And Irish girls won't have to travel all the way to England to delete their history, if you know what I mean. So many teens are having their first sexual experiences, right, online, on Skype or similar things, like in their bedrooms on their own, and I just think, you know what, being fingered behind a caravan by someone who worked at the fair isn't ideal, right? But at least I was getting fresh air. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Angela Barnes. That's been the First World News for this week. Thank you very much for having me.
Still to come, Romesh Raganathan.
joke for the week? Are you up for some more comedy? Now, with all the news from the world of sport, please welcome Romesh Raganathan.
Thank you. So the jockey, AP McCoy, has been called the most successful sportsman of all time because he has won 4,000 races. First of all, can we just accept that it's the horses that win the race, right? If anything, the jockeys are making it more difficult. I can't imagine Usain Bolt halfway through the 100 metres going, do you know what? This would be a lot easier if I had an agri midget piggybacking on me right now. I mean, AP McCoy, he's been winning. He's been winning all of these races, yeah? But he's been winning on horses. Good horses. You want to show me how good you are, mate? Turn up on a goat. You see, the jockey's like jumping and whipping. I just want the horse to turn around and go, do you know what, mate? This would be a lot easier if you just fucked off. Can you do me a favour? Can you just assume that from now on, I am going as fast as I can? Is that all right? The horse cannot win without the jockey, but it's much easier. But the horse is not allowed to win without the jockey. Can you imagine how he would feel? He's beaten everyone in the race. He crosses the line. He's absolutely smashing. He goes, yeah! Oh, fucking hell, he fell off. All he had to do was hold on, the prick. And he couldn't even manage that. What an arsehole. So much hard work for a jockey. The biggest achievement of being a jockey is keeping your weight down. Losing weight, getting lighter. You're trying to be as light as possible. How heartbreaking has it got to be for you as a jockey? No matter how light you get, you will never be as good as if you just weren't there. It's actually better for you to call in sick. The England cricket team have been in the news. The Ashes are coming up and people are looking at me thinking, well, Romesh, what team do you support? Well, I'm originally Sri Lankan. My parents are Sri Lankan, right? But I was born and bred in England. So what I say to you is I proudly support any team that happens to be winning at the time. That's... I mean, I'll be honest with you, I can even support Australia if I want, just because... And I'll tell you why, because I happen to look a lot like an Asian Rolf Harris. The England cricket team have sent through an 82-page menu booklet to the chefs in Australia, right? They've got quinoa, tofu, mung bean, and the Australian cricket team are getting all excited about this because they reckon they can take the piss. I think this is Australian cricket team missing a trick here, because if you want to take the piss out of the England cricket team, there are far more obvious things that you can take the mickey out of. For example, the fact that half the team are South African, right? I mean, I'm all for being inclusive, but it's a bit embarrassing when you see the interview, isn't it? I am extremely proud to be playing for England, and I cannot wait to go back to Johannesburg and talk to my family about how proud I am. When I was growing up, it was always my dream to play for my country, and that didn't work out. England are definitely the favourite of my second choices. I mean, you can't blame us for sending a menu across to the Australians in advance. I mean, their culinary skills are hardly renowned, are they? The two most famous contributions they've made are the barbecue and the bush tucker trial, right? The Australians, they think it's going to give them loads of verbal ammunition. They think they're going to give it some to England on the pitch, right? As if they found their weakness by taking the mickey out of the food. I mean, it's all a bit petty, isn't it? Right? I mean, it's hardly 8 Mile. Do you know what I mean? You're in the pavilion, yamming on some mung bean while I'm round your parents' house, flicking on your mum's bean. Munching on tofu so you won't put on flab while your missus enjoys my spicy lamb kebab. How much of a pussy are ya? I would say very, but you won't get cystitis because you're drinking cranberry. Peace. gentlemen, this has been your sports lovely Romesh Raganathan. Thank you very much. Good night.
Romesh Raganathan. That's all from Stand Up for the Week. You've been a great crowd.
This week, according to the papers, Justin Bieber was snapped coming out of a brothel in Brazil. He denied this. Here he is. He's hidden under a blanket.